the #1 place for VAs, social media managers, and designers who are really looking to build that standout brand online and live the laptop lifestyle. If you haven't already yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below just so that you're actually up to date on all the latest tips and strategies that I actually do have for you. But in today's video, we are going to be talking about all things quitting your 9-to-5 job and my own tips and really things to consider before you actually quit cold turkey and go full time within your own business. There were definitely a lot of things that I wish I had known before I actually quit my 9-to-5 job and dove into my own online business, which is exactly why I wanted to share with you those things on today's video. So let's go ahead and dive in. So if you really want to make this the year that you finally quit your 9-to-5, or the year that you really just start your side hustle so that you one day can quit your job and actually go full time in your business, then this video is definitely for you. Now, before we begin, I do want to note that I am in no way saying that working a 9-to-5 is a bad thing or that you can't actually have a 9-to-5 and have your own business, because you definitely can. What I am saying is that this video is truly for you if you know that the whole 9-to-5 corporate life just really isn't for you. You're really feeling stuck, like you're kind of living your days on repeat, you're unfulfilled, and you really do know that launching your own online business is that vehicle to really help you escape your 9-to-5 and live life by your own design. Now, if you're watching this video, you are most likely wondering if you should quit your 9-to-5 job, when the whole right time will be, and if this is really the worst or best idea that you have ever had. And I know this because I was really in your shoes not that long ago. Growing up, I was actually told that the only way that I could be quote unquote successful was if I really got good grades in high school, went to a UC college, and then really climbed the corporate ladder. I just really did not know that there was any other option out there until I was actually scrolling Facebook one day. I was basically procrastinating from studying for finals, and I came across an ad of 2 women who really worked online, traveled the world, and actually taught other women how to do the same. That was kind of the moment that everything sort of just like clicked for me, and I was like, wow, there's another option besides just corporate. Anyways, to kind of keep this short, I still went down that whole corporate path, as I really did not know what skills I actually wanted to build that online business out of. So I still got a position, and I moved down to San Diego, and I landed a position at a real estate investing company, and I quickly realized, like, nope, this job is not for me. And then I actually ended up applying and landing a different position at an Instagram marketing company, where I did learn the ins and outs of Instagram and marketing, and I really did give hundreds of Instagram consultations each and every single month. In between calls, I would basically sit there at my really ugly cubicle scrolling on Instagram all day, because that was literally my job, and I would just sit there wishing that I could actually trade lives with all the other female entrepreneurs that I saw on that screen, who really were working online, traveling the world, and actually being able to be their own boss. One day, I finally realized that this whole wishing game was really not gonna make anything happen. You know, no magical fairy was gonna tap me on the shoulder and really change my life. I actually had to make that change in order to change anything. So the first tip that I have for you is that you have to change in order to actually see change. For me, that really looked like handing in my 2 weeks notice, even though I was so incredibly terrified, and really deciding, okay, I'm actually gonna go ahead and move across the country to live with my then boyfriend, who had actually gotten stationed there, get that part-time babysitting position so that I could actually go ahead and pursue my online business. Now, something that I really want to know is that I did not fully think through this whole quitting my 9-to-5 job thing. While it definitely led me to where I am today, and I actually wouldn't change anything about it, there were a lot of things that I didn't actually consider, and it did cause a lot of stress. For starters, instead of actually quitting my 9-to-5 job kind of cold turkey and then diving further into courses, podcasts, coaching, etc., it definitely would have been a lot smarter for me to actually stay at my 9-to-5 job, and then from there really start taking that daily action, hire a mentor or somebody to help me implement what I was actually learning, and then ultimately build up my side hustle and brand. But that is not what I did, and I ultimately left because it was really affecting my mental health, and it was really the right choice for me personally. So like I said, I ended up moving across the country and actually getting a part-time babysitting position, and even though it was not the most glamorous job on earth, and really nobody in my family, friends, old coworkers, etc. etc., really understood what the heck I was doing. It was ultimately to really help fund my learning, my living expenses, and really start diving into my own business. So my advice to you is to go ahead and make that change. This does not have to be a drastic quit your 9-to-5 job tomorrow kind of change, but more so really think about what small action step can you personally take today so that you're actually one small step closer to actually launching your dream business. Maybe this is actually buying a course or, hiring a mentor, mapping out just 1 hour a day or 3 times a week that you personally can focus on your business and actually move that needle forward. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to go ahead and consider is, of course, money. Whether you decide to quit your 9-to-5 job cold turkey, keep your 9-to-5 and actually balance a side hustle or actually get a part-time job, you are obviously going to want to think about money. Now, I'm definitely not an expert in this subject, but what I personally did was just make sure that I had enough savings before I did fully quit my 9-to-5 job. I had actually worked 3 jobs in college, and luckily my parents did really teach me the value of savings and having some semblance of a backup plan. So when I did fully quit my 9-to-5 job, I did have a little bit of a buffer so that I could actually move clear across the country and eventually actually get that part-time babysitting position. So what I want you to go ahead and do is actually get out a piece of paper, you can do this now, and really start jotting down how much income you are currently making from your 9-to-5 job each and every month. 2, what are your expenses? So kind of what's going out, rent, food, gym, etc. every month. How much savings you already have in place. And lastly, what is a realistic amount of money that you could actually live off of? Because ultimately you want to be thinking about how much money your business really needs to be making each and every month, or how many months of savings you actually need to have in place for you to feel fully confident enough to actually hand in your 2 weeks notice and say goodbye to your corporate job. Now, the next tip that I have for you is to go ahead and map out your goals, your values, as well as your why, because entrepreneurship is very similar to like driving a car. Before you actually get in that driver's seat, you should have some knowledge of where the heck your destination truly is. So really start to map out your goals for the next 3, 6, 12 months and start outlining how you're actually going to go ahead and achieve them. And just like in business, when driving a car, you are going to hit speed bumps, you're going to hit traffic, unexpected weather, you're going to pass different mile markers, have people actually drive way faster than you, etc. So in order to really keep going throughout all the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, and trust me, it's a freaking roller coaster, you really need to have a strong enough why. So start to think about, okay, why are you actually getting into business? What's the motivation behind it? Why are you actually going to get out of bed every morning? And what's the impact that you really want to have on others? Now go ahead and actually think about your values. So the reality is the majority of your life is actually spent working. And if the reason that you're quitting your job is actually because it doesn't align with your core values, then you need to make sure that going forward with your business, it actually does align. So maybe your values are freedom, freedom to actually be able to travel the world, work from your laptop, take more than 2 weeks of PTO a year, and really that freedom to be your own boss. Or growth, you really value that personal development, and in your corporate job, you really felt like you weren't maximizing your full potential. Next one could be like no cap on your income, because in corporate, I know this is exactly how I felt. I knew exactly how much I was gonna make each and every year, which obviously has its positives, but I knew that I really wanted to be able to actually build up my own wealth and build up my own income and not have somebody else really dictate that minimal pay raise each and every year. And another value could actually be integrity. Maybe you've worked for companies that really don't run their business with that full integrity. I know I have, and that's exactly why you personally want to go ahead and build your own so that you feel fulfilled and you're really doing that good in the world. Whatever they are, go ahead and write down your values, and if you do value like structure, for instance, maybe running your own online business isn't the right fit for you, and that's totally okay, because in all honesty, you do have to create your own structure when you do run your own online business, and this was something that was incredibly hard for me to do in the beginning. I was so used to somebody else just telling me exactly what to do, what to focus on each day, and pretty much knew that as long as I showed up, did the work, that I was going to get that bi-weekly paycheck, which is so different than business. So really get clear on what really aligns with you. The next tip that I have is to go ahead and start creating systems and processes in your own business. Now, this is something that I wish that I had done before I actually booked that one-way plane ticket to Bali and really essentially launched my own business, as it would have made my life so much easier, because instead, when I actually got to Bali, I was scrambling to find clients, I was scrambling to onboard them, send them invoices, etc. So my advice to you is to go ahead and really get those systems and processes in place from the get-go before you even decide to actually fully quit your 9-to-5. So really think about what types of tools are really going to help you accomplish the task within your own business. How are you going to actually onboard your clients so that the client experience is really seamless? Send them contracts, send them invoices, and really ultimately get them from that point A to that point B. And my last tip or piece of advice is to really realize that growth takes time and that nobody has it all figured out. I know this whole online space and entrepreneurship has definitely been glamorized and really made to seem like running your own online business is quote unquote easy. Even if you just scroll on Instagram for a few minutes, you will most likely see people marketing the whole 6 figures in 6 months or 100K in a year. And while it is definitely possible to go ahead and hit those numbers, please realize that this is not the norm and that you aren't a failure if you don't hit these numbers in your first 6 months or even X years in business. Growth really takes time, and as you move further along in your business journey, you are going to realize that all the effort that you put into creating content, showing up daily, doing video after video after video, even when nobody was watching or you're hearing crickets at first, eventually all of this effort is actually going to have a compound effect and you will actually then see results. And the very last thing that I'll kind of leave you here with is to just realize that everybody is figuring it out along the way. Those top entrepreneurs that you really look up to have all made mistakes, they've all failed at something or another, and had and still have bad days, but they keep going, they stay in their own lane, they're consistent, and that's really why they're at the position that they're in today, and that's ultimately why you look up to them. So keep going, keep creating content, and really focus on your own business and not what everybody else is doing in your own space. So that's my journey and the tips that I do have for you before you take the leap and go full time within your own business. If you did find this video helpful, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Make today count, and I'll see you in the next video.